with the big story of the day. Asaduddin Owaisi of the AIMIM has now used Jallikatttu and the protest over Jallikatttu to slam the unified or uniform civil code and make a case for not scrapping Triple Talaq.
Yes, he stated here that Jallikatttu protests there, they're an example of how a uniform civil code cannot be imposed on people that regarding personal, cultural, personal, religious rights there. He's called for a similar agitation across the country to the Muslim community there to reject the UCC and ensure that the ban on Triple Talaq does not go ahead with.
मैं आपके सामने बात कर रहा हूं तमिलनाडु के गयूर अवाम की, जिन्होंने अपनी एक तहजीब जलीकट्टू को बचाने के लिए लाखों की तादाद में चेन्नई के समंदर के बीच पर निकल गए। पूरे चेन्नई को, तमिलनाडु को रोक दिया और हुकूमत को मजबूर किया कि कानून को बदलना पड़ेगा। तमिलनाडु की आवाम से सबक हासिल करो अलीगढ़ के नौजवानों। तमिलनाडु की आवाम के इत्तेहाद को अपना सामने रखकर एक लाहेमल तय करो कि देखो कि तमिलनाडु की आवाम ने अपनी एक तहजीब को बचाने के लिए लाखों की तादाद में निकलकर तमिलनाडु को बंद कर दिया। तो तमिलनाडु की AIMIM की सरकार और दिल्ली की मोदी की सरकार को उनकी ताकत के आगे झुकना पड़ा।
Well, he's drawn in a comparison which people say is not acceptable because Jallikattu is people's right. It is, of course, a people movement, but issues like Triple Talaq are something which has been a rampant issue. Of course, that is something which has been raised by many, saying that gender equality is something which the Constitution guarantees and nobody should interfere with that. Well, Asaduddin Owaisi so far has been extremely critical of the BJP government, saying that they are trying to use this issue to polarize. But on the other hand, it is being said that gender equality is being something which is being guaranteed by the Constitution, and that is exactly one of the reasons that the centre is trying to pull this out. Well, this has been a war of words happening between the centre as well as many Muslim clerics, etc., who clearly say that there is no provision of interfering with the religion, and although the government has been saying that they have tried to ensure that the constitutional rights of any citizen are not violated. With journalist Ajay Payal Mehta for NewsX.
Triple Talaq is a human rights issue. You can't treat women as some kind of cattle, you see. Even cattle have rights, as has been shown in Jallikattu. So therefore, you can't compare the two. Where a fundamental right is violated, where gender equality is violated, it is on a totally different footing than when some animal rights organization decide that this is acceptable and that is not acceptable. No one's stopping the Muslims from going on a peaceful protest. In fact, in Jallikatttu also, when the students were doing peaceful protest, nobody objected.
We do not give much credence to the discourse of Mr. Owaisi because we have seen him as the other side of the coin of the current dispensation. His attempt is always to polarize, and his focus is to create a polarized society, and the benefit of which goes to the Bharatiya Janata Party. This is standard suspects and standard operating procedures when elections are nearby. And we don't say anything more than that.
Coming in just now, MP and also Minister at the centre, Anupriya Patel, has lashed out at Asaduddin Owaisi, criticizing his statement. Take a look.
See, this comparison between Jallikattu and the rights of women, it is totally inappropriate. And this matter is being looked into by the Supreme Court. So I don't think while the Supreme Court is deliberating on this sensitive issue, Owaisi Saab should make such comparisons which are absolutely inappropriate, and he should not say something which provokes the sentiments of people.
Let's get further inputs here. Apart from all the political reactions here that have come in, largely slamming Owaisi in that statement there. Our correspondent Payal Mehta with further inputs. Payal, what are the other political voices they're saying, those who've chosen to in fact slam him? Is this just for vote bank politics, given that he's made the statement keeping in mind UP elections around the corner?
Yes, of course, Seher, you made a very, very important point. A lot of political parties and a lot of politicians that we've been speaking to, they say that, they do not really agree with what Owaisi is saying to begin with. A certain number of people cannot, work on the women's rights. They cannot, dictate women's rights in women's terms to them. The fact that we live in a free country, we live in a democracy, and the Constitution guarantees basic rights to all the citizens. So that is something which is being spoken about. And secondly, one must not forget that Owaisi, while he was making that statement, was in Uttar Pradesh. He was, of course, addressing an election meeting over there. So obviously, not many say that this is his attempt to polarize, and that's something which he's tried to do through the other elections, including Bihar as well. So, not much should be read into it. And the fact that he's tried to polarize the entire issue, and, there are many who are slamming this comparison that he's drawn. How is Jallikattu to be drawn? Because Jallikattu obviously is about a religious festival. It speaks about animal rights, and yes, of course, there could have been differences in understanding what the animal rights provide and not. But the clarity as far as every citizen, including women in this country, is concerned, the Constitution guarantees us freedom guarantees us basic freedom, something that nobody can really take away.
Payal, stay on with us. We are also getting more reactions now. JDU Sunil Singh has spoken on what Owaisi has said. We'll take a look at what he had to say. We'll go back to Payal after.
Owaisi Sahab right away just saying that they will not take care, or they will not budge on the issue of Triple Talaq. I think they should give it a thought, because but then everything should come from the Muslim community itself, and everybody, even Owaisi Sahab, should respect the law of the land and should work it accordingly. We are of the firm belief, yes, if the Muslim community says personal law is going to be changed, they should be taken into confidence, and because the change is the progression, and the change it occurs normally, that it should come from that community only, and we should not impose our own thing in the name of Uniform Civil Code.
Go back to Payal Mehta now. Payal, the fact that Owaisi has chosen the Jallikattu protest to highlight how he thinks there are similarities between communities who stand together and show a public outrage, really, or a public demonstration of their faith and their traditions, can even sway courts as well as governments. He's overtly making a political point here, but some have tried to say he's trying to equate women with cattle. Is that really the thrust of his argument? The thrust of his argument, to my mind, is that if people's movements come out on the streets, they can sway governments and courts. Your thoughts?
I completely agree with what you're saying, Athar, because, obviously when he's made that statement, he's made that as a political statement, and he's, of course, drawn in comparison, saying that look at the kind of movement that happened because of Jallikattu. Look at how people really came together. They came out in large numbers. They gave out the support. They were standing there in protest for days together, and that is probably something which was then converted into the people's movement. It then was perceived and viewed as, of course, the mass movement, the mood of the people, the rights and privileges of the people that they really considered. So that's something which he is again trying to say, and he's trying to say that Muslims know their
We're going straight across to Prime